Okay, folks, welcome to the continued review of ISOM number 1. This is Eric July's baby. First book in the Rippaverse, 96-page full-color comic, and we are going to be covering pages 2 and 3 today. Now, this is a scene in which you've got three guys, presumably within the police department, which is the only well-lettered, identifiable structure on the first page, so we're pretty much having to presume, on account of there being no narrative text, that we are now inside the police department watching the TV along with these cops. So basically what we've got is three men. One of them appears to be a higher-up in the department because he's not in a police uniform, and then you've got two rank-and-file police officers with him. And you've got a guy on the TV, and he's talking about crime statistics and stuff, that they've been decreasing as he's been in office. So it's some politician of some sort. And then we have the higher-up saying, well, he's not giving us any credit. That's not good. And then the two rank-and-file police officers kind of converse about how, well, do we really deserve the credit given that, the politician has freed up some funds for us, and then, we've got all these superheroes helping us, and then it pisses off the higher-up so much that he just basically ejects the two rank-and-files from his office, and then right after that, you have a third rank-and-file police officer in uniform come in and say, boss, and she slams the door behind her. He complains a little about that, and she says, well, you told me to keep this under wraps, and it's she's showing him something on her phone, and he's horrified to see it, and she says she's back. Okay, now, in all of that, how many names did I mention? None, right? I mean, I didn't mention any names, because no names were given, and this is a problem. This is a problem because you want readers to be able to know who your characters are in your book. And you don't have, there's nothing like a list or a narrative or anything going on in any of this, nothing in the dialogue that is naming any of these characters you see on the page. Why not? I mean, it seems to me, at least, that there are some of these characters who are important to the story. Why are they watching this politician on the screen? Who is this politician on the screen? Is he a mayor? Is he a governor? We don't know. It doesn't say. It doesn't even give you a chyron of some sort, which is doubly weird. I mean, come on. Anything you watch on CNN or Fox or MSNBC, any news program you watch these days, there's going to be chyrons all over the screen. Little symbols and stuff like that. There's nothing in here. Nothing to tell us who he is. And then the three men who are watching, who are they? We don't know. I don't know if this is a captain or a commissioner. I don't know if he's a lieutenant or a detective or I don't know who the hell this guy is. I know that he's the boss of the uniformed one, so I assume he's got to be like a captain or commissioner or something like that. But I don't know. I mean, is he a Commissioner Gordon type? Could be. But he's never given a name, even though he's obviously the most important guy on the page. Pretty much, from a narrative standpoint. I mean, even though he's basically just standing around listening to the other people talk for the most part, but you can tell he's the focus. He's the focus of the page, and we never learn his name. We don't even learn his name when this woman comes in and says, boss, look what I found on the phone. We don't know her name. We don't know his name. All we know is that he's her boss, and that's it. This is all a problem. I mean, I can't... I hate just saying that, because I don't want it to seem like this is I don't want to be depressing about it, but it's a problem when you can look at two pages and not know who anybody on the pages are. You have to be able to give your readers some idea who it is they're dealing with. One of the things that Bill Willingham communicated to Ethan Van Sciver when he gave him 13 pages of notes on Cyberfrog 2 Wrecked Planet was, you need to make sure you understand at any given moment how much information the reader has, because you have it all in your head. You know the whole story. You know who every character is. You know all their motivations. You know why it is they say the things they say. But the reader is depending on you to communicate all of that. And you have to make sure that all of that story, all of that identifying information is communicated to the reader. So these 2 pages are really a failure to communicate, because If I'm trying to tell you the story of what happened in this page, listen to what I have to say. So there are these three guys, two are rank and file cops, and one of them appears to be their boss, and they're listening to some politician who's either maybe a mayor or governor, we're not quite sure. And then the commissioner captain type says, and it's already convoluted, the commissioner captain type. I shouldn't have to say that. I should be able to say something like Captain Travers. I don't know if that's what the guy's name is or not, but I mean, just make that up. I should see something on his desk that says Captain Travers, like a nameplate. I should see maybe something on the door that says Captain Travers. Or maybe one of the guys says, in the point of, this back and forth conversation, hey, Captain Travers, did you see the chick with the red hair, or something like that? Give us something. Give us some kind of hook to let us know who your characters are. Because, you created them to be known by us, by the readers, and yet you're communicating so little that I can't even easily describe what goes on in this scene because I'm having to use these generic names for everybody. It's kind of a pain. Technical note. One thing I did notice on one of the namings that does happen, or actually both namings, you might say, but one of them is former Governor Schrack. Okay, so we know that there is a former Governor Schrack. We don't know who the current governor is, but we know that there is a former Governor Schrack who apparently didn't fund the police very well. Okay, so that's one person. But there's another group that's also named, and it's the Alpha Corps. Now, if you've watched any of the campaign materials for ISOM, you know this is like the green-clad trio of superheroes that ISOM will come into conflict with at some point in time. Alpha Corps, when it is mentioned, should be bolded and italicized, because this is the first mention of this supergroup, and the reader should know that this is somebody to pay attention to. I just mentioned somebody important. So this is kind of a lettering fail right here, where when the person on page 2 says, I hear Alpha Corps hasn't been needed for months, Alpha Corps should be bolded and italicized. That's just kind of the way that you introduce character names. So other than that, on those 2 pages, that is my main complaint for now. I have another complaint coming up, but I'm going to save that for another video. I'm just a little disappointed that I've read this scene a bazillion times to get myself familiarized with it so that I can comment on it, and I can't talk about it intelligently because I can only refer to this one as woman who appears to be a person who reports to this commissioner captain guy, and all these other very, very generic terms for everybody on here, when it would have been nothing just to give them names. So that's one of the things you got to take into consideration is how much do you know and how much are you communicating, because the reader will never know everything you know. The reader can only know what you communicate to the reader. So make sure that when you have opportunities like this, and there's plenty of opportunities in the dialogue here, to communicate identities, to communicate rank, to communicate position and status and things like that, do that so that the reader gets an idea of who these characters are, how they're going to interrelate, and what to call them going forward, so that the next time your reader sees those characters, you realize, oh yeah, that's Captain Travers. Oh yeah, that's Officer Gonzalez. Oh yeah, that's Officer Shady or whatever. That's the real Slim Shady. So yeah, just give us names. Yeah, don't leave us asking ourselves, who are these people? I'm Mike Martika. Thank you for watching. Please do subscribe so you catch the next commentary, and I will talk to you later.